Hello, welcome everybody to part one of a new series of tutorial on Thesys from Sugar Bytes. So what is Thesys? It is a MIDI sequencer. A MIDI sequencer which always comes handy. It works as a standalone version, but also it works inside a host like a UV3 MIDI processor. So in this first video I'm going to give you an overview of the application, as it is quite a comprehensive application, and the first time you see it might be a little bit intimidating, but actually as you learn it becomes really straightforward. So we are first inside the AUM, and let's choose a audio tuning extension, like in this case an electric piano, and from Apesoft, which is okay. Let's also check a little bit to the volume. Maybe works better like this. And now let's add a MIDI processor, and let's search for what we need. This is MIDI FX. Okay, and as always, you know how to do the connection between the two of them. So let's open it. So as you can see, quite a busy interface, and if you hold and scroll, and you see also a remaining part of the screen underneath. So if you have an iPad with a bigger screen, well, you will find that extremely useful. You can double click on a part of the screen, and in this way you can actually zoom in, and then you can pan left and right, up and down, which is really handy, and then you can double click on it again to go back to the default view. So as you can see, there are lots of controls on the screens. So let's start to give you an overview, and I think the best way to learn how to use it is actually to start using some of the controls. So let me introduce you to some of the controls that you will find useful. But before I do that, I want to show you also that it works as a standalone version. So here it is. Here is the standalone version as well. And as you can see, for me, in the writing are actually clearer because it uses the complete screen of the iPad, so I prefer to stay in this view. So let's go through some of the basic. Let's get it to work, because that is important. As a standalone version, it will send the MIDI out and it will receive also MIDI in, but it has also a synth engine which you can access from here. You click on here and you can enable it, disable it from here. You have a number of controls here, and then you can also choose some preset as well, which comes very handy. Okay, up here you can find the preset. Okay, so let's start going to the factory one, and let's go down to the ini preset to initialize a preset. Now if I click on the play button here, nothing will happen. But what you can see here is this cursor moving from left to the right, and this is the size of the loop. Okay, at the moment we have setting for the loop to be global, so they're all the same length. But if I was to click where it says global here and to make individual, I will have different length for the loops for each of the different areas, like pitch, velocity, gate time, etc. For now, for simplicity, let's keep it to global, so I have the same length. Of course I can change them. So you don't hear anything because the velocity here is set to 0. So let's click on the screen, and of course you can double click and zoom in if you want to see more clearly. And let's create a note for each of the 4 bits. So as you can hear, you can hear some notes now, and they have different velocity, but the notes are always the same. So to change that, let's double click and let's go to this section where it says pitch. At the moment we have a scale which is chromatic, but we can also change that. The root note is C in this case. And let's put a note where we see corresponding to where we have some velocity, like so. Okay, and then let's click play again. Okay, so now we know how to create a pattern. Okay, so we established some velocity, pitch as well, and let's go even further. As an introduction, you can see gate time here, and it's quite interesting. And the way it works is that he opens and closes the gate for longer. So if I put these right at the top, you will hear this note will last for longer. If I put that right at the bottom, it will be very short. This one medium and this one something like that. Let's click play and you hear the difference. Of course, in this preset we have some delay, which you can hear. Down here, that is where you hear some delays. But hopefully you hear that the gating times are changing. So as you can see, straightforward, it's very easy to create a pattern. And of course you have some predefined patterns here. Let's go to factory 1. And I don't know, let's choose get the grip, which is quite nice. And let's change the preset here to cutting pad and lower the level a bit, and let's click play. So very straightforward, as you can see, and here this is where you can also save patches, etc. And it is very much, as I mentioned at the beginning, a rich interface. But when you learn to use it, it will come second nature to you. I recommend as you start using the SIS, you just start to playing with some of the controls. For example, look on the right hand side here under where it says action section, and it's quite interesting here. For example, you can set the time for the gating, and as it is plays, you can click and hold this button to change overall the gating time. So let's try. You can change also the number of a step, for example, here. You can slow it down pressing on this button. You can re-trigger it with this button. You can have half speed with this button here. So as you can see, lots and lots of options, and it has also option for performances, for live performances, which we'll see in the next tutorials. So I hope you enjoyed this first introduction to the SIS from Sugar Bytes, an excellent MIDI sequencer. Remember, it is 100% MIDI compliant, which is really, really good. We will proceed in the next part to drill down on each of the controls with some examples, so that by the end of the series you know exactly how to use it in your composition. See you next time. Bye.